Welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Caitlin and I do videos on true crimes and I tell their stories. And a lot of them are not very nice. So if you don't like it, there's other channels to watch. But this is kind of what I like to talk about. So I'm going to do that. So if you do like it, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And when you hit the subscribe button, you can hit the little bell. And you can do it for all videos, and you can get notifications for when I upload my videos. So with that being said, today we're going to jump right into this one. And this one hits home for me because I grew up in the city that they committed these crimes. And it's really fucking disturbing. So, and I also went to the same high school as one of their victims for grade 9. So I just, yeah. I know a lot of people have done them already, but I want to tell my story of it. So here we go. This is about Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka and their life and how they ended up doing the sick, twisted shit that they did that ended up with them being where they are today. Well, we'll get to that later. Anyways. Here we go. Paul Kenneth Bernardo was born on August 27th, 1964 in Toronto, Ontario. Now, Bernardo was born into a wealthy but dysfunctional family. His mother, Marilyn, who had been adopted by a well-to-do Toronto lawyer, Gerald. Is that Gerald? Yeah, whatever. Gerald Eastman, and his wife, Elizabeth, was raised in a stable household. His father, Kenneth, was the son of an English woman and an Italian immigrant who created a highly successful marble and tile business, but was abusive to his wife and children. Kenneth Bernardo became an accountant after disapproved of an earlier boyfriend. Eastman married Bernardo in 1960, which is the year my lovely mother was born. Anyways. Like his father, Kenneth Bernardo was said to be abusive. Marilyn, after having given birth to a son and a daughter, began starting a marital affair with her former boyfriend, which she became pregnant and gave birth to Paul Kenneth Bernardo on August 27th of 64. Kenneth Bernardo tolerated his wife's affair and is listed as the biological father on Paul's birth certificate. In 75, Kenneth Bernardo fondled a girl and was charged with child molestation. He also apparently sexually assaulted his own daughter. Bernardo's mother was like so depressed and so distraught over this that she just cut herself off from everybody and like hid herself in their Scarborough home basement. And yeah. Though the elder children felt the effects of the emotional and mental turmoil, young Paul apparently was showing no signs that it fazed him, which I don't understand how, but that's... Apparently, Paul was, like a lot of people thought he was a very cute kid, had these dimples in his cheeks, and, like, these mothers wanted to, like, walk by him, and, like, women wanted to pinch him because he was the cutest little thing ever. He was, you know, a very polite boy, very well-mannered, very well-spoken, you know, always said please and thank you, was very respectful, but things changed. So following an argument that he had with his mother, she came out of anger and told him at the age of 16 that Kenneth wasn't his real biological father, and that his real father was this man that she had an affair with. So, upon that, Bernardo changed his attitude and the way he was towards women. He became very, like, just abusive to his mother in public. Like, he would call her names and slurs, like, just calling her a whore, a slut, a slob, and just humiliating her in public because he just resented her so much after finding all of that out. And he already resented his father, Kenneth, who he thought he was his dad, just because he was a piece of shit. But now he resented both of them, and it just, yeah, didn't end well for anybody. Nope. Bernardo graduated from Sir Wilfrid Laurier Collegiate Institute and opting to work for Amway, whose sales culture had a deep effect on him. He bought the books and tapes of famous motivational get-rich-famous experts. Bernardo and his friends practiced these techniques on young women in bars, and it actually worked. He had a very friendly personality, very inviting personality. He was very charismatic, very, just really good with his words. And it obviously helped that he was good looking, so women obviously liked that. But he had a lot of girlfriends growing up when he was younger and being 16 and everything. And they also they said that he was abusive to them, physically and mentally, and would humiliate them in public as well. So in October of 87, this is where he meets his future wife, Miss Karla Homolka. Now, they met at a convention in Toronto, and she was 17 years old, and I believe at the time he was 23. They were immediately attracted to each other, and by immediately, I mean very, very highly attracted to each other. They were flirting all night, nonstop, very heavily, and they actually did have sex the very first time that they met that night. And afterwards, they had discovered by, staying up and talking all night long that they both shared the same sick, twisted, sadomasochistic sexual desires. And yeah, I'm going to stop with that timeline right there, and I'm going to go into hers timeline growing up. And then I will go back. And yeah. So, she was born Karla Leanne Homolka on May 4th, 1970 in Port Credit, Ontario, Canada. I'm not going to forget Canada because that's where I'm from. To Carol Homolka and Dorothy Seeger. Sorry, shouldn't laugh. I can't pronounce things. But anyways, her father was a Czechoslovakian immigrant. He worked as a traveling salesman. He often got drunk and fought with her mother in front of Karla and her two younger siblings, and they had to confront each other. And Karla was also asthmatic, and she had to be hospitalized frequently. So she obviously was probably having panic attacks, which obviously brought up her asthmatic attacks because she was probably hyperventilating, right? And breathing in and breathing out really quickly and everything. And it just affected her, obviously. During her formative years, she enjoyed drawing and expressing her love for animals. She took up a part-time job at a pet shop, and when she was in her teens. She was a bright student and was liked by most of her teachers. However, she was known to be really bossy with her peers when she was growing up. Although she claimed to love animals, and I don't understand how because of what she did next, she threw her friend's hamster out of a window, and it died, obviously, because it's a little hamster. It's a little cute little fluffy thing. Yeah, she killed it because she's fucked. But onward, she liked to read the Hardy Boys and the Nancy Drew novels, and she got super obsessed with crime. And she did that at the age of 12. And she became obsessed with crime, like I said. As she grew up, she became harsher in her ways and enjoyed scaring her friends. She became interested in the occult and often called spirits with her friends. During her high school days, she was known to be a nonconformist regarding fashion and gave the impression that she did not care what others thought of her. She was bold and did not hesitate to mingle with the opposite sex. She dressed in a lot of black, a lot of heavy dark makeup that she would wear. And yeah, she ended up dating this boy named Doug, and admitted to experimenting with drugs and having sex with him. She often fantasized about weird situations related to death and had once attempted to cut herself with a knife. Now, back to the thing when she had sex with Doug. She apparently went around to her friends and bragged about how the sex was just crazy and wild for her first time, and she just enjoyed it. She got handcuffed and choked out and all this kinky shit. Now, I'm sure some of us do involve, some kinky stuff, like some handcuffs and whatnot. But, she just just bragged about it. She made up, obviously, a lie, because when he got wind of this, he did say, he's like, no, that didn't happen. Like, our sex was pretty normal. Like, it was very plain. There was no drugs. There was just no kinky shit involved. Just normal sex. Yeah. So, you know, after that, that's when she met Paul at the ripe age of 17. And that brings us up to what I left off at. So, on his brain. Okay. So Bernardo committed multiple sexual assaults, escalating to viciousness in and around Scarborough, Ontario. Most of the assaults were on younger women whom he stalked after they exited buses late in the evening. So here's the first one. Okay. Actually, he committed this months prior to meeting Karla. But after meeting her, he did continue to keep doing these. So, yeah. May 4th of 1987, Bernardo committed his first rape in Scarborough against a 21-year-old woman in front of her parents' house. After following her home, the attack lasted a half hour. May 14th, 1987, Bernardo committed his second rape. He attacked a 19-year-old woman in the backyard of her parents' house. The incident lasted over an hour. So, as the times go on, like, the attacks, they get longer and longer. Okay? July 27th of 1987, Bernardo attempted his third rape. Although he beat the young woman, he abandoned the attack after she fought back. So good for her. Good that you fought back. December 16th of 1987, Bernardo committed his third rape against a 15-year-old girl. This rape lasted about an hour. The following day, the Toronto Police Service issued a warning to women in Scarborough traveling alone at night, especially taking the buses. December 23rd, 1987, Bernardo committed his fourth rape. During his attack, Bernardo raped a 17-year-old with a knife he used to threaten his victims. It was at this point he began to be referred to as a Scarborough rapist. My eyes are so freaking sore. Sorry. April 18th of 1988, Bernardo attacked a 17-year-old girl. The fifth assault, this one lasted 45 minutes. May 25th of 1988. So at this point, he is with Karla. Anyways, so May 25th of 88, Bernardo was nearly caught by an uninformed Metro Toronto investigator staking out a bus shelter. The investigator noticed him hiding under a tree and pursued him on foot. But unfortunately for the investigator, he did flee and he lost him. So that sucks really bad. Jesus. May 3rd of 88, Bernardo committed his sixth rape, this time in Clarkson, about 25 miles southwest of Scarborough. This attack against an 18-year-old lasted 30 minutes. I cannot even imagine what these women are going through. Like, oh my God. October 4th, 1988, Bernardo attempted a seventh Scarborough rape. His intended victim fought him off, but he inflicted 2 stab wounds on her thigh and buttocks, which required 12 stitches. It's getting bolder. November 16th, oh my God, 88. Bernardo committed his 7th rape against an 18-year-old in the backyard of her parents' house. November 17th, November 17th of 88, Metro Police formed a special task force dedicated to capturing Scarborough rapists. December 27th of 88, an alerted neighbor chased Bernardo off after he had begun his attempted 8th rape. June 20th of 89, Bernardo attempted to rape another young woman. She fought against him, and her screams alerted neighbors. Bernardo fled with scratches on his face. Excuse me, I need some water or else I'm going to die. My throat is killing me. Oh my God, that's so good. Alright. Where were we? August 15th, 1989, Bernardo committed his 8th rape against a 22-year-old woman. He had stalked her the previous night from outside the window of her apartment and waited for her to arrive home. This particularly vicious attack lasted 2 hours. Jesus Christ. Okay. November 21st of 89, Bernardo committed his 9th rape against a 15-year-old whom he saw in a bus shelter. This attack lasted 45 minutes. December 22nd, 1989. Bernardo committed his 10th rape against a 19-year-old. This attack occurred in a stairwell of an underground parking lot and lasted 30 minutes. May 26th of 1990, Bernardo committed his 11th rape. This rape lasted over an hour. However, his 19-year-old victim's vivid recollection of her attacker permitted police to make a computer composite photograph, which was released 2 days later by the police and published in the Toronto and surrounding area newspapers. July of 1990. 2 months after receiving tips that Bernardo fit the Scarborough rapist composite, he was interviewed by 2 police detectives. Now, this next tidbit is going to piss you off. It pissed me off. Between May and September of 1990, the police had submitted more than 130 suspects' DNA samples for testing when they received 2 reports that the person they were seeking was Paul Bernardo. The first in June had been called in by a bank employee. The second call was received from Tina Smyrnis. I'm going to say Smyrnis because that's how I feel like it's supposed to be pronounced, but I don't think it is. The wife of one of the 3 Smyrnis brothers, oh my God, who were among Bernardo's closest friends. Now, so Alex Smyrn's phrasing was awkward and stilted and left the detectives unsure of whether to take him seriously, but after cross-checking several files with detectives, decided to interview Bernardo. The interview on November 20th, 1990 lasted 35 minutes, and Bernardo voluntarily gave samples for forensic testing. When the detectives asked Bernardo why he thought he was being investigated for the rapes, he admitted that he did resemble the composite. The detectives concluded that such a well-educated, well-adjusted young man couldn't be responsible for the vicious crimes. He was far more credible than Alex Smyrns, who, with his awkward, strange way of speaking, might just be trying to collect a reward. Why would he, like, I don't know where their logic and thinking was at. I mean, maybe they did think that he was, and maybe he might have been. Who knows? But they had the Scarborough rapist, but they fucking let him go. Okay? They let him go. Following the interview, Bernardo drove to St. Catharines and held a secret meeting with Homolka, assuring her that he was not the Scarborough rapist. She fucking knew, okay? She knew. She fucking... What's wrong with you people? She knew. She was okay with it. She didn't care. Okay, so... Bernardo moved permanently to St. Catharines on February 1st of 1990. Wow, I was only a couple months old that time. Anyways, that's not important. The sexual assaults in Scarborough had stopped. However, on April 6th of 1991, and you know what? I don't even care if I'm being rude about the police investigation and how they went about this, because you know what? It is... I would think if I was them and this happened and then all this shit happened afterwards, in my head I would have been like, oh my God, like I had a chance to stop this man. We had a chance to arrest him and put him in prison for this. But we didn't. And now look what happened. That's my mindset, because I feel like guilty about things that I do that I know isn't right. Hello. Use your heads, guys. Come on. The sexual assaults in Scarborough stopped. However, on April 6th, Bernardo committed his 12th rape in St. Catharines. Again, the victim was young, 14. Unlike the other attacks, this one occurred early in the morning, and he was not near a bus stop. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Now, you remember, Karla was working at a pet store. Not a pet store, sorry. Oh yeah, a pet shop. She still worked there, okay? 2 years earlier, she had asked a 15-year-old girl that she worked with to have, like, you know, a girl's day with her. Like, let's go shopping, let's go get some dinner, let's hang out. And the girl agreed. She shouldn't have. But they went back to her house, and I guess they kind of convinced her to stay. Well, they ended up shoveling her full of alcohol and just feeding her more and more alcohol, but they laced it with this drug. And after she lost consciousness, Homolka called Bernardo to tell him that his surprise wedding gift was ready. So they undressed the girl. Karla proceeded to rape the girl first, then Bernardo vaginally and anally penetrated her. yeah, they fucking raped her in her sleep while she was knocked out. And then she woke up the next day and she was like throwing up and stuff and she didn't feel good. And she thought it was because she drank too much, but no. Honey, unfortunately you were drugged and you were raped in the middle of the night, and she left. Okay? And yeah. So, yeah. They invited her over again, and they tried to pressure her to have sex, but she said no, and she became upset, and she left. And this was in December 22nd of 1992. 6 months before their 1991 wedding, Karla and Homolka stole the anesthetic agent halothane from the clinic. On December 23rd of 1990, Homolka and Bernardo administered sleeping pills to the 15-year-old in a rum and eggnog. This is her sister Tammy Homolka. After Tammy was unconscious, Homolka and Bernardo undressed her, and Karla applied halothane-soaked cloth to her sister's nose and mouth. Now, halothane is an anesthetic agent that is used on fucking animals in like the veterinary clinics and stuff. So this isn't for humans. This is for animals. This is not for humans, okay? Not for humans. So, Karla Homolka wanted to give Tammy's virginity to Bernardo for a Christmas gift. To Homolka, sorry, was Bernardo disappointed by not having been Karla's first sex partner. He's got a lot of fucking issues. With Tammy's parents sleeping upstairs, the pair filmed themselves as they raped her in the basement. Tammy began to vomit. The pair tried to revive her, then called 911, but then before they had evidence, dressed Tammy and moved her into her basement bedroom. A few hours later, Tammy Homolka was pronounced dead at St. Catherine's General Hospital without having regained consciousness. Despite the pair's behavior, vacuuming and washing laundry in the middle of the night, and despite the presence of chemical burn on Tammy's face, which they had made an excuse, like it was from them giving her CPR. But I don't know how that works, or that she drank too much, or something happened. Hello? No, guys. No, you fucking idiots. Anyways, so the regional coroner and the Homolka family accepted the pair's version of events. The official case of Tammy Homolka's death was accidental choking on her vomit after consumption of alcohol. The pair subsequently filmed themselves. They filmed themselves raping her sister. I have to zip this back up because this keeps coming down. Sorry. Little outfit malfunction there. They also moved out of the Homolka house to rent a Portaluzzi bungalow to let her parents cope with their grief. Which you caused! You caused the fucking grief. Like, are you freaking kidding me right now? But anyways, I know I'm like all over the place here, and please just stay with me. I tend to have a squirrel brain effect, so just bear with me here. Now this one's about Leslie Mahaffey. Okay? In the early morning on June 15th of 1991, Bernardo took a detour through Burlington. It's a place halfway through Burlington, or halfway through Toronto and St. Catharines. So from St. Catharines to Burlington, I think it's about like 30 minutes. Not even, almost 30-minute drive. Something like that. Anyways. 2 steel license plates were found where he found Leslie Mahaffey. The 14-year-old had missed her curfew after attending a funeral, was locked out of her house, and had been unable to find anyone with whom she could stay with overnight. As Bernardo approached her and told her he was looking to break into a neighbor's house. Unfazed, she asked if he had any cigarettes. As Bernardo led her to his car, he blindfolded her, forced her into the vehicle, and drove her to Portaluzzi, where he informed Homolka that they had a playmate. As Bernardo led her to his car, so Bernardo and Homolka subsequently videotaped themselves torturing and sexually assaulting Mahaffey, all while listening to Bob Marley and David Bowie. Wow. Okay. Leslie demanded, at one point, Bernardo said, "You're doing a good job, Leslie. I am a damned good job." Oh my God. Then he added, "The next 2 hours are going to determine what I do to you. Right now, you're scoring perfect." On another segment of tape played at Bernardo's trial, the assault escalated. Mahaffey cried out in pain and begged Bernardo to stop. In the crowned description of the scene, he was sodomizing her while her hands were bound with twine. Later, Mahaffey told Bernardo that her blindfold seemed to be slipping, and ominous development as it signaled the possibility that she might be able to identify both her tormentors if permitted to live. I personally don't think throughout all of this that he was ever going to let her go. They were never going to. They weren't. No fucking way. The following day, Bernardo claimed Homolka fed her a lethal dose of halocane, whatever you want to say it. Homolka claimed that instead Bernardo strangled her. The pair put her body into their basement. After the Homolkas and the remaining daughter Lori had left, Bernardo and Homolka decided the best way to dispose of the evidence would be to dismember Leslie Mahaffey and encase each piece in cement. Man. Bernardo bought a dozen bags of cement at a hardware store, and the following day he kept the receipts, which would prove damning at his trial. Bernardo used his grandfather's circular saw to cut the body. Bernardo and Homolka then made numerous trips to dump the cement blocks in Lake Gibson, 18 kilometers south of Port Dalhousie. Now, I've gone fishing in that lake. I have gone kayaking in that lake. It's not very deep. It's really not that deep. It's not deep at all, so I'm not surprised by the next thing. Leslie Mahaffey's appearance proved definitive in identifying her. So, I don't know the exact date, but a bunch of fishermen apparently found Leslie Mahaffey's body. Now, this is Kristen French's story. Kristen French, on the afternoon of April 16th of 1992, and the Homolka were driving through St. Catharines to look for potential victims. It was after school hours on the day before Good Friday. Students were still going home, but by and large, the streets were empty as they passed Holy Cross Secondary School, which is the high school that I went to and Kristen French went to. A main Catholic high school in the city's north end spotted Kristen French. A 15-year-old student walking briskly to her nearby home. The couple pulled into the parking lot of a nearby Grace Lutheran church, and Homolka got out of the car, map in hand, pretending to need assistance. As French looked at the map, Bernardo attacked from behind, brandishing a knife and forcing her into the front seat of their car. From her back seat, Homolka controlled the girl by pulling down her hair. French took the same route home every day, taking about 15 minutes to get home in order to attend her dog's needs. Soon after she should have arrived, her parents became convinced that she had met with foul play and notified police. Within 24 hours, the Niagara Regional Police had assembled a team and searched the area along her route and found several witnesses who had seen the abduction from different aspects, thus giving police a fairly clear picture. In addition, one of Kristen's shoes recovered from the parking lot and underscored the seriousness of the abduction. Over the 3 days of Easter weekend, Bernardo and Homolka videotaped themselves as they tortured, raped, and sodomized Kristen French, forcing her to drink large amounts of alcohol and to behave submissively to Bernardo. At Bernardo's trial, Crown Prosecutor Ray, I'm just going to call him Ray because I can't pronounce his last name, said that Bernardo's ways intended to kill her because she was never blindfolded and was capable of identifying her captors. While Bernardo was out buying pizza on April 18th, he was spotted by Carrie Patrich, see below, whom he had stalked the previous month. Her report to the NRP was mishandled by police, as noted by Judge Archie Campbell in the 1995 inquiry into the police investigation of Bernardo's crimes, thus negating any chance of Kristen French's being discovered in the Bernardo's household. So what the fuck? Like, why can't you guys just, like, listen? Like, I don't understand with some of these police cases and everything that I read in some cases with all of these, true crime stories and everything. Like, why are the police always doing this? Why can't they just... You're supposed to take a look at every lead, no matter how not so serious you think it is. You should still look into it. Even if it doesn't lead to anywhere, at least you tried. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I would have done that. I don't understand this, but whatever. The following day, the couple murdered French before going to the Homolkas for Easter dinner. Homolka testified at her trial that Bernardo had strangled French for exactly 7 minutes while Bernardo said Homolka beat her with a rubber mallet because she tried to escape, and that French ended up being strangled on the noose tied around her neck, secured to a hope chest. Immediately thereafter, Homolka went to fix her hair. French's nude body was found in a ditch on April 30th, 1992 in Burlington, approximately 45 minutes from St. Catherine's, and a short distance from the cemetery where Leslie Mahaffey is buried. It had been washed and the hair had been cut off. It was originally thought that the hair was removed as a trophy, but Homolka testified that the hair had been cut to impede identification. So other potential or possible victims. In addition to the confirmed murders of Tammy, Lynn, Homolka, Leslie, Aaron Mahaffey, and Kristen Dawn French, suspicions remain about the other possible victims or intended victims of Bernardo and that of Karla Homolka. Shortly after Tammy Homolka's funeral, her parents went out of town, and Lori visited her grandparents in Mississauga, leaving the house empty. On the weekend of January 12, 1991, according to author Stephen Williams, Bernardo abducted a girl, took her to the house, and raped her while Homolka watched. Afterward, he dropped her off on a deserted road near Lake Gibson. Bernardo and Homolka referred to simply as January Girl. At about 5:30 a.m. on April 6th of 91, Bernardo abducted a 14-year-old who was warming up for her duties as a coxswain at one of the local rowing teams. The girl was distracted by a blonde woman who waved at her from her car, enabling Bernardo to drag her into the shrubbery near the rowing club. There he sexually assaulted her, forced her to remove all her clothes, and waited 5 minutes, during which he disappeared. On July 28th of 91, Bernardo stalked Sydney Crescian, 21, after he saw her while driving home from work. On August 9th, 91, he resumed stalking her. This time, she took evasive action, stopping at her boyfriend's house just prior to his arrival. After spotting Bernardo, the boyfriend gave chase, came across Bernardo's gold Nissan, and took note of the license plate. The couple reported the incident to Niagara Regional Police, who established that the car belonged to Paul Kenneth Bernardo. An NRP officer visited Bernardo's house, where the car was parked in the driveway, but did not pursue the matter, nor did he submit an official police report. Like, come on. Like, really? Like, honestly? Like, why? On November 3rd of 1991, 14-year-old Terry Anderson vanished about 3 blocks from the parking lot where Kristen French would have been abducted and never returned. Terry was a grade 9 student at Lakeport Secondary School, next door to Kristen French's school. Terry Anderson and Kristen French disappeared within 2 kilometers of each other, and in April of 1992, NRP said that they had no evidence to suggest a link. But in May of 92, Terry Anderson's body was found in the water at Port Dalhousie. The medical examiner saw no evidence of foul play, despite difficulties of determining such factors in a body that had been in the water for 6 months. The coroner's ruling that her death was by drowning, probably as a result of drinking beer and taking LSD, was in light of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French's murders. A newspaper clipping found during the police search of the Bernardo house described a rape that occurred in Hawaii during the couple's honeymoon there. The presence of the article, the rape's similarity to Bernardo's modus operandi, and its occurrence during the Bernardo's presence led police to speculate on Bernardo's involvement. Law enforcement officials on both sides of the border had stated their belief that Bernardo was responsible for this rape, but due to extradition issues, the case was never prosecuted. In 1997, Derek Finnegle's book, No Claim to Mercy, was published, which presented evidence tying Bernardo to the murder of Elizabeth Bain, who disappeared on June 19th of 1990. Only 3 weeks after the last known attack of the Scarborough rapers, Bain told her mother she was going to check on the tennis schedule on the Scarborough campus of the University of Toronto. 3 days later, her car was found with a large blood stain in the back seat. Robert Boltovich, who was consistently maintained his innocence, was convicted on March 31st of 92 of second-degree murder in the death of his girlfriend. At trial, his lawyer suggested that the then unidentified Scarborough rapers was responsible for the crime. He served 8 years of life term before being released pending his appeal. In September of 2004, his appeal was processed. His lawyer alleged that he had been wrongfully convicted and that Bernardo was guilty of the murder. On December 2nd, 2004, the Ontario Court of Appeals set aside the conviction. On July 15th of 2005, Ontario's Ministry of Attorney General announced that Robert Boltovich would face a new trial on April 22nd, 2008, after a series of including the presentation of evidence implicating Bernardo in the murder of Elizabeth Bain. Crown Attorney Philip Kotanian, I can't read names, I'm so sorry, advised the court that he would be calling no evidence and asked the jury to find Boltovich not guilty of second-degree murder. On March 29th of 92, Bernardo stalked and videotaped Shanna and Carrie Patridge from his car, followed them to their parents' house. The Patridge sisters incorrectly recorded his license plate number. Shanna Patridge reported the incident to NRP on 31st of 1992 and was given an incident number should further information develop. With Kristen French under Homolka's guard, April 18th of 1992, Bernardo went out to buy dinner and rent a movie. He was spotted by Carrie Patridge, who attempted to track him to his house. Despite losing him, she got a better description of his license plate and car, which she reported to the NRP. This information, however, was mishandled by police and slipped into the black hole, to which Judge Archie Campbell would refer to the Campbell report of the 1996, an inquiry into police mishandling of evidence in the case. Well, duh. In 2006, Bernardo confessed to the 87 assault against a 15-year-old girl. Another man, Anthony Hannemeyer, had been convicted of that assault and served the sentence for it. On June 25th of 2008, the Court of Appeal for Ontario overturned that conviction and extradited Hannemeyer. I can't even know pronouncing these things properly. My throat is so sore. The trial and incarceration of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka has finally come to a head here, folks. Yay! Bernardo's trial for the murders of French and Mahaffey took place in 1995 and included detailed testimony from Homolka and the videotapes of the rapes. The trial was subject to a publication ban which applied to the Canadian newspapers and media, and the venue was moved to Toronto from where the murders occurred. However, the ban did not affect American newspapers and television stations from nearby Buffalo, New York, from reporting the trial proceedings, which were easily seen in southern Ontario. During the trial, Bernardo claimed the deaths were accidental and later claimed that his wife was the actual killer. Now, they turned against each other pretty fucking quickly, but she would also later come out and say that she had no play in any of these crimes. She did not help him, especially even when it came to her sister. She said that she was forced to do it and that she didn't actually want to participate, but because Bernardo was so abusive to her and just hurt her so much abusively that she had to, because he was forcing her. No, sweetheart, yes, he may have been abusive to you, but you full-heartedly participated in these crimes and you fucking enjoyed it. You enjoyed every minute of it. This is, oh my God. Anyways, here we go. On September 1st of 95, Bernardo was convicted of a number of offenses, including 2 first-degree murders and 2 aggravated sexual assaults, and sentenced to 25 years in prison. Later, Bernardo was also declared a dangerous offender, making it unlikely he will ever be released. Good. In return for a plea bargain, 12 years in prison for manslaughter. Yeah, she made a deal to testify against Bernardo in his murder trial. This plea bargain received much public criticism from Canadians, as Homolka's first defense lawyer, Ken Murray, had withheld for 17 months videotapes that Bernardo made. That is fucked up. This was considered critical evidence, and prosecutors said that they would have never agreed to the plea bargain if they had seen the tapes. Murray was later charged with obstruction of justice, which he was acquitted, and also faced a disciplinary hearing from the Law Society. During her interrogation in 93, Homolka told police Bernardo once bragged to her that he had raped as many as 30 women, double the 15 assaults police suspected he had committed. She described him as the happy rapist. Okay. Bernardo had been kept in the segregation until a segregation unit at the penitentiary for his own safety. Nonetheless, he has been attacked and harassed. Once he was punched in the face by another inmate while returning from a shower in 96. In June of 99, 5 convicts tried to storm his segregation range where Bernardo lived, and a riot squad had to use gas to disperse. The Toronto Star reported on February 21st, 2006 that Bernardo had admitted having sexually assaulted at least 10 other women in attacks not previously blamed on him, and the majority of those attacks took place in 1986, a year before what police termed the reign of terror by the Scarborough rapists. Authorities suspected Bernardo was the culprit in other crimes, such as a string of rapes in Amherst, New York, and drowning death of Terry Anderson in St. Catharines. He had never acknowledged his involvement. It was reported that Bernardo's lawyer, Anthony G. Bryant, had forwarded this information to legal authorities the previous November. Okay, in 2006, Paul Bernardo gave an interview in prison suggesting he had reformed and would make a good parole candidate. Get the fuck out of here. You're never getting out. He is not eligible for release in 2010 under the faint hope clause since he was convicted of multiple murders. Bernardo is currently serving his term in the maximum security prison at Kingston Penn. Actually, no, he's not, because Kingston was shut down in 2012. 2 prisoners, and everyone was moved to Millhaven Correctional Institution. So now Kingston Penn is now shut down, but it is open from May to October for tours and tourists to go and look at it. So they do have, they call the famous Paul Bernardo prison cell where he was. But now everyone, it got shut down in 2012, and then everyone got pushed over to Millhaven. So now he's at Millhaven Correctional Institute. He spends 23 hours a day in an 8x4 jail cell. Now, for the last 4 years, he has been trying to get parole. But every time a parole hearing comes up, when he, requests one, he gets denied. You are not getting out. I don't know how many times people have to tell you that it's not going to happen. You keep trying. It's not going to happen. Because guess what? I can almost guarantee you that if he ever got parole, he wouldn't survive 1 day. I'd give it a week. Someone would probably try to kill him. And you know what? It's not unlikely. I mean, people are disgusted by what he's done. And the families that he's hurt over the years, and the women that he's raped, and the Mahaffey family and the French family, like, come on. You really think that people are not going to try and harm or kill you? Like, come on. You're stupid if you think it's not going to happen. But anyways, the next part is about Homolka's release. Homolka was released from prison on July 4th of 2005, several days before Bernardo was interviewed by police and his lawyer, Tony Bryant. According to Bryant, Bernardo claimed that he had always intended to free the girls he and Homolka kidnapped. Bullshit. However, once Mahaffey's blindfold fell off, allowing Mahaffey to see Bernardo's face, Homolka was concerned that Mahaffey would identify Bernardo and subsequently report them to the police. Further, Bernardo claimed that Homolka planned to murder Mahaffey by injecting an air bubble into her bloodstream, eventually causing an embolism. So she's out. This is the end of their terror. But here we go. So she apparently got released, got a new identity. From what I heard, she had like a little bit of cosmetology surgery on her face, even though I don't really think so. I've seen a couple pictures of her previously of what she looks like now. She still looks the same, just aged. She apparently went to the Bahamas for a while. She lived there. Then she came back to Canada. Now, this is, and I have no idea what is going through her husband, her second husband, who she's now married to and has 2 kids of her own. I think she's got little girls. This is just disgusting. Her husband that she's with now was her lawyer's brother. So the lawyer that defended her in her case in the trials is her fucking lawyer's brother, okay? It's her lawyer's brother that she fucking married. So he obviously definitely knows what she is capable of, what she fucking did. I have no idea what's going through his mind, why he would even be in love with somebody like that, and even more so want to have sex with someone like that. And then you have kids with her, and she's got kids. She has fucking children now. She doesn't deserve children. I am sorry, but she deserves to be rotting in prison for the rest of her life, just like Bernardo is right now. Because when those tapes came out, it was clear as day Like they said, they would have never given her that plea deal if they had seen the tapes first, because she incriminated herself just as much as Paul Bernardo did. She did just as much as he did. She raped her own sister. She drugged her own sister. She killed her own sister. And she raped and drugged all these girls. She's not innocent. She is not innocent by any fucking means. She does not deserve to be out. And she definitely does not deserve to have children. And apparently, she lives in Quebec now. Now, this just happened, I think, last year, that people had found out who she really was. And from what I've heard, I don't even know if this is true, but there's a guy that literally goes around to where she is. So when she settles somewhere, he goes around and destroys it for her. He rips that out of her feet and exposes her to the public in that area and tells them who she really is. And then she has to leave. And a lot of people and reporters found out about who she was in Quebec, and she was actually on the parent committee of her children's school, okay? She would always go and drop her kids off at school, and reporters and people found out who she was, which I'm surprised that no one actually clued into who the fuck she was, because, I mean, it's whatever. So she, like, blocks her face and everything. She doesn't want to be shown, anything like that. And I'm going to show you pictures of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka right now. That's Karla. That was her back in the day. Okay? That was her. And that was Paul Bernardo back in the day. That's them together. See? See? So, yeah. And I don't know why she's out. I don't know. She did so much. And it's really shitty, the fact that when they did make that deal with her, that they could not take it off the table. They could not take it back because it was set in stone already. She shouldn't be out. She definitely shouldn't be married and have kids of her own. Her children, I think, in my personal opinion, I don't care how mean this sounds, she does not deserve happiness. She deserves to be miserable for the rest of her life. And apparently her family still went and visited her when she was in prison, when she was serving those 12 years. Which, no offense to you guys, I know she's your daughter, but, like, why? Why would you go see her? Why would you give her that time of day after what she did to your other daughter? Like, I don't know. And I guess my grandmother knew the French family. Like, she kind of sort of knew them. I also went to school with Kristen French, and, I mean, not with her, sorry. I went to the same high school as her for grade 9 at Holy Cross Secondary School in St. Catharines. And the principal's office, so there's a hallway, long hallway in the front, and then there's another hallway, it's like a T-shape. So in that T-shaped hallway in front of the principal's office, they have a memorial for Kristen French in like a glass encased shelf. And it's just a nice little memorial with a nice school picture of her. She looks beautiful. You know. And it's just, it's honestly, it's so sad because I feel like, I don't even know. Like, I just feel for these families. I feel really bad. I feel bad for all the women who were sexually assaulted and raped by Paul, and all the attempts, and even the people, like the two sisters, the Patridge sisters, who literally told police what kind of car he was driving, gave the right license plate and everything when she tried to pursue him to see where he was going back to his house, and the police didn't even bother to question him. Like, how frustrating is that? And even in Scarborough, like, they didn't even bother to fucking, like, what? Why? Like, I don't know, man. Like, this shit's all just so fucked up. Like, what do you, like, you guys are supposed to be police officers. You're actually supposed to be doing a job. not doing it, obviously, not at least a very good one. But yeah, it's just insane that, and still to this day too, like a lot of people will still remember and everything. And I remember when he did try to get parole for the first time, and like I was on Facebook, and it was just all over my newsfeed, just all over my newsfeed like crazy. Like everyone was just like, no fucking way, you need to rot in there for the rest of your life. You know, I hope you die in prison and stuff and this and that. And you know what? Rightfully so. People should say that because that's exactly how they should feel. He was a terrible, terrible human being. He did absolutely horrific, unforgivable things. And some people also say that if he didn't meet Karla, then he would have never killed anybody. But because of how much of his attacks were getting more and more violent and longer too, and more ballsy, it was literally just a matter of time till I think he did it. And yeah, so my thoughts are, fuck that. He doesn't deserve to ever come out of prison. And fuck her too. She deserves to not be out enjoying life. Because that's what she is. She's out enjoying a nice life with her little family that she has, which she doesn't deserve to have. I'm sorry. She's not a good person. And she will never fucking change. I highly doubt that she has. She probably just suppresses her urges. God damn. I'm so pissed. I'm shaking. But anyways, I hope that you guys can all have patience with me. And just, I'm sick of my everything right now. My throat's dry. I need to go and drink some water. And just chill. Because my eyeballs are sore from staring at this. So hopefully you guys like this. Enjoy it. Give me some support. I promise the next one won't be as squirrely. Where I'm like literally all over the place. Because I was like reading all this stuff that I had gotten off the internet, so I didn't have like enough time to write it all down, and then I just got distracted. So I'll be better my next video, I promise. Trial and error, people. I don't know what to tell you, but anyways, I hope you guys all have a really good day and a really nice Friday and a really good weekend, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye.